Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim. And we are going to cover the last volume, and ideally, the epilogue. Volume 18 of Endings Many. Now, I have not been spoiled, but I have been told that this one is trippy. You crash-landed onto a planet called Alternia. You staggered from the wreckage of your ship. You were desperate for information, for provisions, and possibly a bit of medical attention. But most of all, you were desperate for friendship. Is what you could say if you were written by a bunch of hacks who cared about the Aristotelian ideal of narrative unity. Possibly you could make some reference to a circle being complete in a thoughtless and imbecilic manner. But we're all in this together, right? We've all learned and grown enough to know that there's something deep and dark and absurd brewing beneath the surface. This really isn't about friendship anymore, is it? You've got enough friends. Now you need answers. You need... Oh, god damn it. This is just the intro screen. Lanque Bombyx. What's next on the docket? Oh, you're really feeling like going completely off the rails. So it's a good thing that the first person to ping you on your palm husk is Lanque. That nutty bitch is exactly the sort of destabilizing influence your life needs right now. Hello, my friend? Because that's what we are now. Friends. Cool. That's not a weird way at all to talk to someone. You're really loving this one. You're not sure what it is, but you're positive whatever crackpot caper this loopy troll is about to rope you into is going to be a real humdinger. There's a sense of finality in the air. You can taste it. Lanque does you the courtesy of listening to you say all that shit without getting super put off by how much of a freak you are. Listen up. So, I was thinking, since us becoming friends has worked out so well, I'm starting to think maybe it'd be a good idea to give making more friends another shot after all? I guess? That's what I was thinking. So, there's this party I was invited to. You see, the fellow Jades in my cloister always sneak out to go to these things. You gently suggest to Lanque that she should hurry it the fuck up. Okay, so I'm nervous to go and I want a friend. Come with me, okay? Is that so crazy? No, you don't think that's crazy at all. You think that sounds fantastic, actually. You don't ask for any details because who gives a shit? You show up on the block. We're not going to talk about how you got there or whatever, because what a waste of time. You just got there. Or you're just there. Lanque's met up with you too. Okay, so... the narrative is getting a little bit impatient, I guess. Lanque mentioned there might be dancing, so you decided to really dress up for the occasion. Oh man, you went fucking nuts. You're wearing a cape and shit, but also like fishnets, maybe a sexy bra if that's your thing, whatever you happen to drudge out of some dumpster or another. Honestly, you can imagine whatever you want here, but no, it's complete bullshit and you look like a total slut. Lanque isn't wearing anything special because we would have had to pay someone to draw or redraw all her sprites. Okay, hold on. Let me just... Alright, Lanque. You're a Versailles. Frostbit life. Okay, so to be honest, I kind of felt like the breaking the fourth wall meta was mostly because of rage, especially because Nikki was a Sagicorn. But now it's just straight up leaking into Lanque, or into Lanque's story. So there's no more, there's no more. Well, you know what? I guess maybe this particular entire episode is being influenced a little by the Soleil brothers, but... God damn. Honestly, you can imagine whatever you want here. Would have paid someone to redraw all the sprites. Okay, from the looks of it, you're... Either that, or this is really just kind of... As I suspect, I still think that, the main character is a void character, and there's been pokes at the fourth wall all throughout. And it would make sense for a void character so close to Rage, it would make sense for that Vessel character to have a close relationship with the fourth wall. I don't know. I'll come up with a better explanation for that later, but from the looks of it, you're heading over to somebody's hive? Party? You're rolling up on some kind of joint that, from past experience, you can now surmise is an alien domicile. It's pretty big and maybe belongs to someone on the blue end of the spectrum. Back here again. Is this block just where all the jade-blooded schoolgirls love to get down and dirty? It hits you like a bucket of ice when you realize whose hive you're walking straight towards this time. It's Ardada's hive. Oh, that's just great. Your friend Ardada. Boy, do you love Ardada. Can't wait to see her again. As you approach, you can immediately tell what kind of deal they have going on here. You can hear the tunes bumping from all the way down the block, and when you get near enough to see, there are obviously a bunch of teens passed out drunk on the lawn. This is a full-blown frat house rager. Definitely doesn't seem like Lanaire's sort of scene. That's because it isn't! Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm doing this. You kind of can't either. You're not even in the front door and you can already feel the sweat pouring out of your armpits. This is going to be so much fun. You pass all the smashed lawn teens and go up to knock on the front door. You have to rap on it a few times until the telltale sound of clicking heels faintly reaches your ears. The door opens and you discover that the gracious hostess standing on the other side is none other than your best friend Ardada, woohoo! She looks surprised to see you for only a moment before her face resolves into a wicked grin. Ah. Ha ha ha. My. Look what the Purbeast dragged in. Back for more so soon, my sweet? You're not actually sure how much time has passed since you last ran into Ardada, but it doesn't feel like it can be described in any metric by soon. You've been physically savaged so many times since then, you're not sure what you're blocking out, though. You tell Ardada you're really glad to see her, because you totally are. You tell her you weren't expecting her to be hosting a party, though. Oh, I don't know if I'd call it a party. More of a friendly kickback of sorts. Sort of exclusive, really. All of the world's finest influencers are here. How exactly did you hear of my little shindig? While I certainly consider you to be one of my finest friends, I don't recall inviting you. You gesture vaguely to Lanera. She doesn't seem to know how to lie and immediately cracks under the pressure. One of the other Jades from my cloister told me to come. His name is Lanque, but I don't think he was invited either. I get the impression we kind of always come out here. Basically, we're crashing? If that's okay. Well, of course. What's an informal soiree without a few entirely uninvited interlopers? Lanera doesn't seem to know if she's being sarcastic or not, and you aren't sure if she is either, to be honest. You're like, are you fucking with us? And she's like, ho ho ho, muhahaha, or whatever. Of course not. I just have one question for you, my dears. Ardada beckons you near. You obey her slavishly. Then she leans in close to your ear and intones. Do you hereby certify under penalty of law that you are of age to view adult content within your state of legal residence, have acknowledged the contents of this volume's accompanying mature content description, and are comfortable with the prospect of engaging with challenging or otherwise controversial fictional material? Should I even be showing this on YouTube? You bet, Chief. Tell her to let you in. Ha ha ha. Hee hee ho. That's good to hear. Why don't you come right in then, my dear? I don't want to see you making any little posts online about how my party is too fucking problematic for you, though. Adada steps back and welcomes you again into her abode with a grandiose gesture. You're very, very excited for Ardada's party, and know definitively that you will enjoy absolutely every second of what she has in store for you. Once you've stepped in past the threshold, Ardada blows you a toxic kiss and saunters off to mingle with her enthusiastic guests. The first thing that hits you once you're in the door is the music. It's a solid wall of bass that reverberates through your body down to your bones. The intense dance track is blasting so loud you can hardly hear yourself think. It has to be this loud to drown out all the shouting coming from the living room. As you apprehensively advance, it becomes quickly clear that Linara is completely out of her element here. She's a bundle of nerves beside you, practically glued to your hip. When you actually step into the living room, she physically attaches herself to your arm. Wow, this is more than I was expecting. You too. It's a scene of absolute chaos. The living room of the house is filled to the brim with rowdy teens, dancing rhythmlessly to the pounding music. The furniture has all been knocked over or otherwise destroyed, and you can make a pretty good guess that or what's filling all the red cups you see in everyone's hands. You're about to tell Linara that you wouldn't blame her if she wants to dip. Diamond and hot dog juggler guy? Where? Oh, damn it. I'm gonna have to look closely. Linara, that you wouldn't blame her if she wants to dip, but you can't get the words out before you're being flagged down by a jade-blooded boy who's just muscled his way out of the throng of partygoers with a few of his friends in tow. Linara, you made it! Linara all but flings herself away from your body and flees like a scared animal as the troll approaches. For all the commotion and ruckus, he's still remarkably well put together. The vigorous dance huddle doesn't seem to have disturbed his sharp makeup or his impeccably coiffed hair. There is a curious red stain down the front of his white shirt, though. He has a slutty-looking indigo-blooded girl on his right arm, and an even sluttier-looking teal-blooded boy on his left, though he shakes them off and waves them away by the time he reaches you and Linara at the entryway to the room. Hi, Lanque. Yeah, I'm here. You watch with amusement as Linara practically bursts into flame under his gaze, and it only gets worse when he sidles up to give her a startlingly intimate embrace. She squeaks and tries to hug him back, but is too timid to actually touch him with her hands. You can see sweat pouring down her face. After a solid 5 seconds, that seems to include Lanque smelling Linara's hair, he pulls back to smile down at Linara with a heavy gaze. Linara's face is bright green and her eyes are bugging out of her skull from how flustered she is. But she's not into it, you don't think? It's hard to tell, but you kind of get the impression he'd be dead by now if she weren't. Either way, it's awkward. Lucky for Linara, Lanque either doesn't notice or doesn't care. He settles into a comfortable, for him, posture with his arm casually around Linara's waist and turns to you. Oh, who's this? This is my friend. Yeah. Lanque quirks an eyebrow. You have a friend. The question seems to leave Linara speechless, so Lanque takes the opportunity to look back at you. His eyes rake up and down your body in a way that leaves you feeling distinctly objectified. Oh, aren't you interesting? Is there a reason you look like that? What a question. He doesn't explain what that is specifically referring to, and given both your alien status and your state of dress, it could mean any number of things. You might take it as an insult, if not for the way he licks his lips after he says it. He can't seem to pry his eyes off you. You look at Lanera for a cue, but she's too out of it to give you any sort of intelligible sign. So you just explain how you crash-landed on this alien planet an indeterminate amount of time ago, and you don't really know what you're doing or much of anything about anything. The fact that your appearance could be due either to this, or that you're generally a disaster of a being irrespective of your planetary origin. How fascinating. I've never met an alien before. Well, you have. Lots of times. In fact, literally everyone and everything here is alien to you. You find your word diarrhea coming more and more awkward and embarrassing as Lanque's eyes start burning a hole in the center of your chest. There's no reason to be shy. I don't bite until asked. I see Diamond! Lanque disconnects himself from Lanera as he rounds on you. It's like he's lost any interest in her existence now that you're in front of him. Lanera looks at you with a completely pathetic expression that readily informs you as to what your response needs to be. You'll be damned if you aren't going to be the best wingman possible, so you deftly ignore Lanque's blatant pass and turn the conversation back to Lanera. You ask Lanque how long he and Lanera have known each other. Lanque raises his eyebrows at the question. Well, I suppose since she was chosen for the cloister. Some number of sweeps ago. I don't remember, really. It was 2.43 sweeps. Oh, right then. That many, I guess. Huh. That's a pretty long time, actually. Yeah. Pretty impressive that you managed to go a solid 2.4 of them without saying a single word to me that wasn't circulated to me secondhand from your snide gossiping behind my back. Wow. Talk about whiplash. Lanera's eyes get big like saucers. What? What? What are you? I don't know what you're talking about. The tone of the conversation has totally morphed from fire to ice in an instant. Though neither Lanque's expression nor demeanor have changed much. He slips in the knives with all the calm composure of a casual statement. What, are you going to pretend that you didn't spend the better part of the past 2.5 sweeps complaining about how much I disgusted you? Come now. You do know that everyone is aware you're a nasty little bitch, right, Lanera? I mean, don't take it the wrong way. I really don't mind. I'm hardly in a position to criticize. I was just curious what caused the sudden change of heart after so long decrying my vain and slatternly lifestyle. Have the impending ordeals finally made the little clock start to tick down in that dry, dusty nook of yours? Did you figure I was the only one who might be loose enough to be willing to clean out the cobwebs before you get shipped off to Space Church and never have the chance again? Just wondering. There's a long, excruciating moment where Lanera says nothing, but she stares up at Lanque beside her with a completely shell-shocked expression. But before you can try to pipe in Lanera's defense, she bursts into tears. Oh no. When Lanera suddenly turns and makes a mad dash to run out of the door and away from the party, you're torn between running after her and giving this jerk a real piece of your mind. Your mind's made up when you look back at Lanque just in time to catch him rolling his eyes. Hey, you say, that's kind of rude, don't you think? Lanque snorts. Me? Rude. Are you perhaps attempting to fuck with me? Clearly you haven't spent much time around this bitter pill if you think that was anything short of precisely what she deserves. Concede you maybe don't have a full enough grasp on Jade Blood Cloister social dynamics to make a definitive judgment on whether or not Lanera deserved to have been so ruinously owned. But she's your friend, and what good are you if you don't stick up for the people you care about? I have no idea what even got her so upset. Like I said, it's not like I really care what she says about me. You don't get to spend as much time as she does being a venomous little snake and act surprised when someone calls you out on it. Then why did you invite her, you ask? Seems needlessly cruel of Lanque to lead her on under false pretenses. We never intended to be her friend at all. I promise you, I had no such designs. The only reason I even invited her to this thing is that my ex is being a real blood-sucking bitch. No one else wanted to go. I was willing to give her an honest shot, but I've no time for a vicious, slandering nag who can't even admit what she is. I thought it might be interesting to see what that crusty little shrew might be like if you could manage to wrest her bulge free of whatever excruciating knot she's got it tied into. But I guess now we'll never know. Well, this is clearly a conversation you're going to have to Switzerland out of very soon. What? You try to explain the historical significance of Switzerland's political neutrality on your home planet. Lanque's eyes glaze over like he's listening to you recite a sports almanac of cricket stats. That's nice. Anyway, since I seem to have scared away my date, why don't you stay a while so you and I can get to know each other a little better? You seem much more interesting than she is, anyway. When did Lanque get up so close to you? Your heart beats a little faster when he smiles at you like that, so poisonous and shamelessly laced with intent. Lanera is definitely not the only one coming off like a snake here. I've less time to waste than most, my dear. Never seen the value in beating around the bush. Well, maybe it'd be socially prudent for you to go after Lanera, make sure she's okay. But it's also not her volume of the Friendsim, so instead of doing that, you're going to stick around and see what all this spectacularly briary prima donna is all about. You had your fucking chance to bail out of this shit show, but all that's left to do now is barrel downhill as metaphorically as you can manage. Or meteorically. Fantastic. Care to dance? Why the fuck not? Lanque laughs pleasantly and reaches out to take you by the hand. The contact gives you a little thrill despite yourself. He's got nice hands. Soft and warm and well taken care of, and you know it's going to be one hell of a ride wherever he's taking you. Come with me. You do. He doesn't lead you straight to the dance floor. He takes you around the throng of dancing partygoers over to the kitchen of the house first. You weren't expecting to find a familiar face waiting for you there. Hey, fancy meeting you here. You don't find it that surprising, honestly. You two know each other? You could say that. That's just great. Do you give discounts to friends? I sure fucking don't. You know the price, pretty boy. Pay up. You're a little confused what is being purchased here exactly. Elward gives you a funny look. You a drone? What? Hush. You do as you're told and watch as Lanque and Elward carrying out their shady transaction. Lanque hands over the credits and receives an opaque little baggie of something in return. Oh, well. You guess you don't really need to see what's in the thing to figure out what it is at this point. As soon as the deal is done, Lanque has his hand at the small of your back and is deftly guiding you away from the scene of the crime. Is buying drugs a crime here? You aren't really well versed about the laws of Alternia, but it honestly doesn't seem like anybody would give much of a shit about anybody doing drugs out here. You guess the clandestine transactions are just for the aesthetic. Lanque's got you back in a shady corner of the party and is pressing one of the tablets he bought into your hand with a sly grin. He expects you to join in. You're like, hold on a minute. Your experiences with alien drugs haven't really been that great, honestly. And you're not sure you're that excited for a repeat performance. Lanque's immediate response is to sneer. Oh, I see. You're one of those people. One of what people? You know. A bit boring, maybe. There are many words that could be used to describe you, but you don't think boring is a remote contender. You're always doing all kinds of unbelievably stupid shit and getting into uncountable, wacky, and life-threatening situations. Is it really that fucking much to ask for there to be one time you don't rush headfirst into doing something you know is going to fuck you up and be totally awful? Lanque's lips press into a thin, annoyed line. These things aren't cheap, you know. I bought them for you. Well, you didn't ask him to do that, did you? Oh, come on. You're really going to be like this? Yeah, totally are. Lanque sighs dramatically. Fine. Lanque casts around for the nearest victim and grabs his attention with a hand around his wrist. To your dismay, it's your sweet and innocent hot dog chum, Diamond. Alas, there's nothing you can do to stop him from falling prey to Lanque's wicked designs. Here, have these. Oh yeah, great. Thanks. I love to put drugs on my wiener. Oh, I love to put drugs on my wiener. I love putting drugs on my wiener. I love putting drugs on my wiener. Oh, what a tragedy. But before you know it, Lanque has a hold of you again and is dragging you off. Let's just dance. You're not too much of a square to do that, are you? Of course not. Dancing is basically the one thing you actually plan to come here and do. So that's just great. You go along with Lanque enthusiastically when he pulls you over to the writhing mass of bodies bumping and grinding on the dance floor. You get down to it. You soon discover that Lanque has a very interesting dancing style. By interesting, you mean it primarily consists of directly grinding his body against yours in an incredibly shameless fashion. But pressed as you are from all sides by sweaty and inebriated bodies, not exactly much room for troll Gigas to begin with. Lanque is up on you so close it's hard not to sweat. He has his hands at your hips, and your face fixed with sharp eyes. His heavy stare is nearly hypnotic, so blatant and undisguised with his expression. It's clear what he wants. Maybe that's more than you're prepared to give. But when he looks at you like that, it's impossible to look away. You just go with it. Why not? Feels good, and you're not like anyone and it's not like anyone else is watching. You're surrounded by trolls, boxed in and pouring sweat, and yet it feels like you're the only two people there. Lanque draws in, teeth by your ear, and this close you can hear him easily, even over the overwhelming pound of the bass. You have the palest skin I've ever seen. Yeah, you tell him you're literally FFFFFF white, which is like blank. That makes you super racially inoffensive, for your information. You let Lanque know he can see you any way he wants, which is even more woke than making a decision. Oh, okay. Thin as paper. I can see all the way inside you. all your veins and your red blood. You smell like candy. I wonder how you taste. Wow, you say? It's like some shit a vampire would say. Presuming I'm a rainbow drinker would be an awfully reductive and literal reading of my character. I'm just making a blatant sexual pass. Oh, okay. Good thing that's all cleared up. You take this as an opportunity to really let loose, showing off everything you've got in the sexy dance acumen department. Lanque is a little bewildered. What are you doing? You're like, what aren't I doing? There's a fire on the dance floor and you struck the match. Just fucking it up in here, really getting at it, or really getting it, breaking it down, bopping and crumping and whatever. You're smashing your ass into everyone around you and getting hot and heavy with those lusty moves. There's a point where Lanque has to step back. You presume to properly behold your art in all its glory. But it soon becomes clear that it's not your prodigious dancing skills that have given him pause. You follow his startled gaze and see the cause for alarm. Branya's here and she looks pissed. Oh shit. Branya is still standing in the entryway, contending with Ardada, and it looks like she hasn't caught sight of you yet, but Lanque isn't wasting any time. Before you realize what's happening, Lanque has you by the wrist and is hauling you away from the dance floor and off down the hallway. Lanque finds safety in a bedroom, respite block, you remind yourself, when you take stock of the conspicuous absence of any bed and the presence of the revolting-looking slime cocoon in which trolls allegedly spend their repose. You hold each other in a tense and nervous silence, pressed against the locked door. What feels like an eternity passes, your breath held. The sound of your blood rushing through your own ears is almost enough to drown out the music. Seconds turn to minutes and nobody comes to find you. It seems for now you've escaped Branya's notice. When you turn your head to look back at Lanque, you find he's been staring at you for some time. I haven't been able to take my eyes off you since the moment I first saw you. You're just so interesting. You freeze, like a hare staring down a snake. Lanque lifts his hand to brush a thumb across your cheek, fingers curling under your chin. You meet his eyes. His pupils are so black. I want to know what it'd be like to kiss you. Lanque's tongue darts out to wet his painted lips. Do you want to kiss me? Whoa. Well, you've already clicked on at least 2 mature content disclaimers to get this far. Why the hell not? Lanque leans in and presses his lips against yours. He kisses much more sweetly than he looks. His lips are soft and wet and taste like blackberries. This beats making out with a couple of greasy teens behind a dumpster, that's for sure. When one of his sharp fangs nicks your bottom lip, you don't even care. But when a drop of your blood beads out onto his invasive tongue, Lanque draws back just an inch. You taste sharp and dangerous. Like a weapon. Is that a good thing? It's not a bad thing. Lanque pulls back further. His hands slip from your cheek and his fingers trail down your neck to rest on your collar, thumb brushing against the thrum of your pulse. Okay, I think what I'm reading from what he just said is that... Okay. He threw shade at the idea that he's a vampire, or that he's a rainbow drinker, but I think he is a rainbow drinker, and that was him throwing meta shade through the fourth wall at people who read him as a vampire. Because he just insisted that our blood is different because it tastes like a weapon. What are weapons usually made of? Iron, steel, iron, which is in human blood, which insists that troll blood is not iron-based, thus giving us the hemospectrum. Why they can have different colors. That would make some sense. They don't really have blood at that point. What they've got is, what's the word for it? Insect blood has its own name. I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, Lanque pulls back further. His hands slip from your cheek and his fingers trail down your neck to rest on your collar, thumb brushing against the thrum of your pulse. Have you ever paled before? Lanque shrugs off his jacket and starts unbuttoning his shirt. Whoa, 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 is this really gonna go there? You're like, well, no. You've never done any alien intercourse with a bucket, but it doesn't look like he even has one with him at this moment. That was apparently the wrong way to say, or the wrong thing to say, because Lanque's face scrunches up in displeasure. Don't mock me. It's my first time. You figure laughing would constitute mocking him, so you don't, but the look you give him seems to say enough. Us jades who live in the cloisters have been chosen for a very special duty. We're expected to adopt a chaste and ascetic life in service to the continuation of our species. And when we undergo our ordeals and are sent off-world, there's no such thing as sneaking out of the caverns. If I don't do this now, when? My life is nearly over. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. The text box came up. Okay. Will you help me feel alive? But before you can answer, Bronya's voice starts to rise shrill above the heavy music. Lanque! Lanque's hands shoot out at lightning speed to draw you close before you can so much as gasp. He presses one of his palms over your mouth to keep you quiet. Oh shit. She's close, and from the sound of it, she's getting closer.
Lanque! I know you're here! You need to come out and come home right now!
Lanque leans in close to your ear. Shh. What will you do? Calling his mom. This has gotten problematic enough. No, this is obvious. There is an obvious route here. To get to the end of this friendship, to get our friendship, we have to see where this goes. We've at least clicked through two mature content, as they said, two mature content things. Violence, blood and gore, strong language. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the Steam page really quickly. I feel like violence, blood and gore, and strong language is a bit not the whole story here. Hold on. I feel like with the inclusion of no, you know what? I'm gonna stop speculating. And I'm gonna get on with it. You keep your mouth shut and wait for Bronya to pass. She only shouts for a little while longer before the sound of her voice fades away. There are too many blocks in this hive for her to be trying to break down the door of everyone, and she didn't look too closely at this one. Lost her. When it becomes clear Bronya has gone for good, Lanque lets his hand fall away from your lips to feel him smile against your ear. Where were we? You turn in Lanque's arms and look up into his blazing eyes. How can you alien pale without a bucket? I don't mind doing it without one. Sometimes it can be fun to get a little messy, don't you think? You're like, weren't you just saying this was your first time? Lanque answers you with another kiss. This time, he means business. McChan. Whew, You go all the way with this super slutty alien, and then you slump out on the ground completely wasted. Maybe this all went kind of off the rails, but you have to admit it would have been a real shame if you got through this entire extraterrestrial adventure and never got to smash even a single alien. What would be the fucking point, honestly? This guy really did a whole number on you. You're lying spread-eagled on the floor as Lanque is putting his clothes back on. Man, this is probably your most accomplished friendship to date. You're not quite ready to move just yet, but since you and Lanque are such good chums now, you figure it's a good time as any to ask for his chitter. Lanque seems surprised to even hear you speak. Huh? You want to add me on chitter? Yeah, you say. Isn't that what friends do? Oh. Sorry, I can't. My palm husk is broken right now. Lanque says, while typing away furiously on his palm husk. He doesn't even look down at you. You're like, but you're using it right now? Lanque rolls his eyes. I thought you would take the obvious hint. What obvious hint? Lanque huffs. Look, I was trying to be nice, but you just weren't that good, babe. I don't often ring the same bell twice, but if I were going to consider it, you'd have to show me a better performance than that. Whoa. Holy shit. That's that, you guess. Your lowest low, your first time banging an alien and you couldn't even satisfy him. A little seed of worthlessness takes root inside of you and germinates so explosively that it fills you up until there's basically nothing left. You die of shame instantly. Shamed to death. You know, I thought giving him what he wanted would have been the road to friendship. But I was wrong. So much for all of those mature content warnings. There was hardly anything there. Just a little bit of nipple. Just a little bit of chesticle. Hold on. Oof, you're too scared. Oh man, the sound of that is making you quake in your slutty little boots. Controversial fiction material, you say? Damn, it's almost starting to sound like a woman wrote this. Count you out. Ardata clicks her tongue. She reaches for the cup of markers she keeps on a table next to the door and pulls one out. Never give a fuckboy what they want. You know what? I'll go back and get that one after I've gotten the true... What? Are they fucking with me? Call in his mom. This has gotten problematic enough. You rip Lanque's hand off your mouth and start yelling for Branya. What the fuck, dude? Lanque tries to scramble away from you to make some sort of last-ditch effort to escape, but it's no use. Branya hears you and comes running furious. She hulks the locked door off its hinges before you can even get up to let her in. You duck flying chunks of alien architecture and scuttle off to avoid what you might fear might be further alien fists. Lanque! As angry as her voice is, some of the fury goes out of her face the moment her gaze lands on Lanque's state of partial undress. She reflexively brings a hand up to shield her eyes. What in the world? Put your clothes back on right this instant, young man. Lanque freezes where he stands, apparently accepting that he's been caught. There's nowhere left to run if he doesn't intend to fling himself out a window. A sneer uncoils on his face. Oh, please. Save the purity act. Like this is anything you haven't already seen a dozen times before. Granya's face goes bright jade. What? What in the world are you implying? I would never. Forget Lanera. You've always been the craziest bitch in the whole cloister. You know you aren't actually our Lucis, right? Grania marches right up to Lanque and slaps him hard across the face. Lanque makes an undignified noise as he recoils from the blow. It looks like that really hurt. His face is stinging bright under the handprint. He forces out a strained sigh. My word, bro. If you wanted to join us, all you had to do was ask. Damn. You wish you had some popcorn right now. Or right around now. You just kind of sit back and take it all in. Lanque's invective has its apparent desired effect. Branya is all but steaming at this point, hands balled into fists at her sides. You kind of want to say hi to your friend, but she's a little preoccupied, it seems. I am not going to rise to your petty baiting. You know you're in the wrong here. 1. We've spoken time and time again about recklessly sneaking out to these parties, and now you're dragging Lanera into your mess. 2. Lanera has told me all about the things you've been saying and doing to her, and it is completely unacceptable, Lanque. 3. You've had more than enough lectures about the way you treat your flushed quadrant partners, and it absolutely needs to stop. 4. You are coming back with me to the cloisters right now. When we're home, we're going to have one last serious talk about this, and if there aren't changes, there are going to be consequences. Eventually, Branya's overbearing hollering seems to finally break Lanque down. He sighs, shoulders slumped, and rolls his eyes. Fine, fine. You know, to be honest, I kind of want to give him my Mettaton voice, but I've just kind of got this, I feel like what I've been doing is fine, I guess. Branya closes her arms indignantly as she waits for Lanque to finish fixing his clothes. Lanque buttons his shirt, puts back on his jacket and his tie. Then he has to go to retrieve his palm husk, which he seems to have discreetly slid over to where you're standing. He casually saunters his way over, and instead of picking up his own device, snatches yours out of your hand. Hey, I've got to go, but let me give you my chitter information. Maybe we can pick up where we left off later, sweetheart. Branya stomps over to grab Lanque by the ear and drag him away, but not before he's finished putting his chitter contact into your palm husk. He shoves it back into your hand, mouths you a "see you later," and is then fully hauled out of the room. Hypocrite. You need to shut your mouth. Then they're gone. Friendship accomplished? You guess? Okay. Yeah, sure. I want to click no, right? Let's just move on. I don't know what happened there. I think we're better off just moving on and saving the understanding of whatever the fuck is happening What's too late? Did they implement some fucking Toby Fox goddamn you did the genocide run, now your pacifist run is completely ruined shit? Do I have to delete my file? Hold on. Befriendments. Just keep playing, I'm fine. Okay. You've gotten pretty good at the old friend-making game by now, but even with an old hand at palling around like you, a real platonic Lothario has bad nights sometimes. Tonight was one of those nights. It's getting close to morning, and not a new friend in sight. You'd met new people, sure, but none of your conversations had panned out the way you wanted them to. Every interaction had come to a close with your friend count your friend count no higher than when you'd started. No matter how many compliments, offers to help, and other tried and true friending strategies you'd whipped out. You won't stand for it. You're determined to finish out the night with at least one more new buddy's name in your little black friendship book. But with the sun's about to rise, you have to admit you're cutting it a little close. As each minute ticks by, the sky gets a little lighter, and the possibility of dying an agonizing fiery death gets higher. Maybe it'd be best for you to just pack it in and find somewhere to spend the day. You pick up your trusty palm husk and call up one of the many friends you already have to ask if you can crash. Hell, maybe Skyla will be up for sharing a Recoup Raccoon again. The soothing ooze has kind of grown on you. And sleeping next to Skyla always makes you feel so comfy and safe. Turns out Skyla is more than down with you coming over. Time to make tracks. You turn tail and hurry in the direction of Skyla's digs, but it's not long until you run into a distraction. That distraction is in the form of a house. It's a dark, crooked thing, hulking close to the ground, slatted wood walls, sloping roofs. Vines cling to it like dust and cobwebs cling to forgotten things in the attic. Something about it feels off. It possesses a certain energy that sends shivers up your spine, making your hair stand on end. An instinct deep in your gut is telling you to give it a wide berth. On the other hand, it's shelter. Skyla's place is a ways off yet, while the house is right here in front of you. Could be worth seeing if whoever lives here is willing to put you up for the day. Now approach the house. There's nothing else for it. You make your way towards the house, even though everything inside you is screaming at you to stay away. Even though with every step you take, your chest tightens and your hands tremble. By the time you reach the door, you're shaking like a leaf. Adrenaline zings through you. You could choke on it. You want to run, but you force yourself to keep moving forward. It's a slow-motion race between you and the sunrise. At this rate, the suns will make it all the way into the sky before you can even knock. You drag yourself the rest of the way, stumbling onto the front step. The door knocker is an intricate yet grotesque thing, an undulated tongue rolling out of a set of sharp teeth, all in cast iron. You grab the lumpy end of the tongue and bang it against the door. Nothing. Fuck. Maybe you'll get lucky and the door will be open. Out of options, you reach out and turn the doorknob. You can feel the first licks of sunlight against your back, or against the back of your neck. Is it just you, or is your skin starting to blister? But today is your lucky day. The door opens. You should feel overjoyed at your life being spared. Instead, your focus is fully on how the roiling in your belly has bloomed fully into nausea. In the distance, inexplicably, is the peal of sirens, an insistent whining noise that only continues getting louder. You shouldn't have come here, but it's not like you had any other choice. You might as well see what awaits you inside. As soon as you cross the threshold, the world lurches and you pass out. You come to in a different room than the foyer, head ringing like someone just whacked it. When you move to sit up, there's the sound of skittering all around you. Hundreds of tiny insects are scurrying away to safety. Had they been roving the floor while you were knocked out? You prop yourself back on your hands and take a look around. Your impromptu nap has done nothing to assuage the deep sense of wrongness you have about this. But hey, maybe you've managed to sleep through the day. Maybe the sun has set again so you can get the hell out of here. This sense of optimism is misplaced probably, but it's not as if you can check. There are no windows. You cast your eyes around the room. Underneath the floral peeling wallpaper, the walls are riddled with damp and mold. The other side of the room, an open door. Thank fuck. You aren't locked in, then. You can go look for somewhere else in this place that might have have a goddamn window. You step into a long, winding corridor. It's so cramped you feel almost as though the walls are closing in. While it had been warm enough outside, in here a deep chill settles over you. Sinking deep into your bones, you're half convinced you'll never be warm again. Emanating from somewhere you can't see is music, tinny and rhythmic. It's soon interrupted by a crackling noise like someone trying to tune into the correct station on a radio. Then one of the picture frames lights up. It looks like it was actually some sort of TV screen. Welcome. Welcome. We're glad that you're awake. And that you came to visit us. We've been really, 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 really bored in this stinky old house. It really sucked. We could have just died. From how boring it was. Two voices, one monotonous and so quiet that you can barely hear it, the other shrill, dramatic, like its owner never learned the meaning of the words indoor voice. Catching what the quieter person is saying isn't made any easier by the high-pitched giggling that starts up in the background whenever they start speaking. So hurry up and find us. We want to play a game. Gee, why do those words give you a profound sense of déjà vu? The line goes dead. The line goes dead. At the same time, a door pops open at the other end of the corridor. You're meant to go through it, you guess. You'd rather go somewhere else, anywhere else, other than through that door, but there's nowhere else to go. Or is there? Approach the door. Your wariness only intensifies once you set off down the hall, because the walls start fucking bleeding. You've seen troll blood, or you've seen enough troll blood at this point to be able to recognize it. Hemolymphs, or hemolymph. That's what insect blood is called. Hemolymph. Multicolored streams ooze over the wallpaper and faded portraits lining the wall, collecting and congealing in sticky, viscous puddles on the floor. The narrow hallway becomes steeped in the stench of copper. You walk faster. The streams of blood follow you, sluicing down from the ceiling as quickly as you walk. You reach the door, eager to get away from the grisly sight. You throw it open, but, oh god, you hadn't considered what might be waiting for you behind it. What if those two shady characters plan to torture you, tie you up and steal your palm husk, texting embarrassing messages to your friends while you can only look on in horror, helpless and unable to intervene? Anything but that. It's too dark to see anything. All you can do is fumble and feel around with your hands. Getting out of the room again is a no-go. The door swung shut behind you as soon as you stepped inside. You shuffle forward on wobbly legs. The floor feels unstable somehow, like it's going to open up and swallow you at any moment. Would it be a good idea to call out to see if anyone's here? You manage a feeble, "Hello?" Your voice echoes. Soft laughter reverberates back in response. You catch a glimpse of something from the corner of your eye, a flash of purple. There's the sensation of eyes on the back of your neck, watching you. But you can't discern where the other presence in the room is, if there even is one. I kind of hate this. All the shitty welcomes you've received, this one takes the cake. You have to get out of here. You try to gather your panicked thoughts together to formulate a plan, but before you can do anything, a series of ropes appear seemingly from nowhere, coiled tight around you and holding you down.
You're finally here. We've been waiting for you.
A light comes on. It's not the warm, burning rays of sunlight. This room is windowless too, but a spotlight, bright and harsh. It lights up a broad swath of the room, bleaching it white and sending long shadows stretching away from it. You can see your captors more clearly now. Two purple blood kids. Aside from their expressions, they look exactly the same. A manic glint sparkles in the eye of one of them, and as sharp as his razor blade grin, the other looks more hesitant, almost sad.
We're Baizili.
And Barzum.
You're the alien, ain't ya?
Or Baizili.
You look weird. Your body's real weird.
We wonder what color your blood is.
Or how springy and slimy your acid tubes are.
They squirm around like slither beasts when we slice open trolls' bellies.
Are yours the same?
You struggle against your bonds. You have no idea what acid tubes are, but you'd much rather they stay inside your body where they belong, thanks. You thought you'd moved past the days where you had to serve as a torture muppet. All you needed was a few hours shelter from the sun, and if it's safe to go outside again, you'd really like to leave. This was the wrong thing to say, apparently. The twins leer at you disapprovingly, well, one of them looks so disappointed he might burst into tears. The other just looks pissed.
No way.
We told you.
We've been so bored.
Do you know what it's like?
To be all alone.
With no one else to play with.
For wipes.
We might have each other. We're never truly alone.
That's what makes being us so great.
But it's a little difficult to play pranks on someone
who always knows what you're thinking and feeling.
Wait, you thought Barzum was the quiet one and Baizili was the loud one, but it looks like you were mistaken? Or did they switch? You weren't faced with the prospect of having your innards yanked out and played with by bloodthirsty children. You might be more puzzled by their statement. As it stands, you have more pressing problems in your mind right now, so the words more or less fly over your head. You squirm harder, even though it doesn't do any good. In fact, it just seems to make the twins madder. Sadder? You settle on smatter.
Stop trying to get away.
It's always like this.
Nobody ever wants to play with us.
We hate it.
Now hold still.
You look at them beseechingly, trying to appear as small and helpless as possible. Maybe it's a little pathetic giving puppy dog eyes to literal children, but you lost track of your own dignity a long time ago. They're not really going to do this, right? A noise starts up. It sounds suspiciously like a chainsaw. And is it just you, or is there the scent of raw meat in the air? Where the hell is it coming from? You continue straining in your bonds, stomach clenching in fear, bile rising at the back of your throat. They're not actually going to hurt you, right? Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh. You wake up, gasping, but you aren't strapped down anymore. You're in the same room that you were in at the beginning. What happened? The room hasn't changed since you've been gone. There's still only one way out. You really, really don't want to step through that door again. But what else can you do? You step through the door. There's that radio crackling again. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome! We're glad that you're awake. The little greeting goes on just like it had before. A pre-recorded message, maybe? Your heart pounds as you step through the second door. You're hoping you'll be able to sidestep the ropes this time, but instead of getting tied up, you trip forward into a vat of what feels like glue. You were lucky enough to have turned your face away from the stickiness. Your nose is still above the surface, so you can breathe. For now, anyway. But you can't move. You're finally here. We've been waiting for you! They're acting like it was the first time all over again. What is this fuckery? Are they messing with you? You met already, mere minutes ago. No. We would have remembered. Meeting a weirdo like you! Stop trying to trick us. Then everything goes black for a third time. And here you are again. Welcome. Welcome! Are you for real? This time you get shoved into a box. You're pretty sure you pass out while you're in the middle of getting buried alive. You come to in the room you're beginning to think of as yours, yet again. You pass out 5 times. 10. You begin to lose count. You never pass out at the same point during the twin shenanigans, but it inevitably happens. You always end up right back where you started. The worst part is that while your conversation with the twins stays the same, the way they trap you changes. You get trundled upside down from the ceiling, dunked into a water tank, scrabbling to get out while your lungs begin to burn for lack of air. Every time you black out before you can die. But you've almost died dozens of times by now, and it's really beginning to stress you out. You have to be stuck in some sort of time loop. You see this sort of thing in movies all the time, and everyone knows that movies are the best points of reference for one's actual life. The hero wakes up to the strains of an old pop song playing on the radio and reminisces over their childhood journals, which sends them back in time where they have to stop a crime before it happens, or maybe you were thinking of a different movie. Anyway, your point is that you have to find a way out of the loop. Hopefully you won't have to do anything too wild, like stab your past self and then throw your own bloodied corpse out the window. That would really, really blow. Unfortunately, you can't seem to find any clues indicating what you should do next. You always pass out. Twins are always excited to play with / torture you. They don't seem to be aware that any of this is happening, from what you can tell. After round 20-something or other, you've had it. Enough is enough. You can't take any more giggling, any more of that hard, damp floor, any more excruciating games. You might not be any closer to figuring out what to do, but you have to try something. There's one thing you've been doing wrong. Making this all about escape. You've been so preoccupied with not getting sliced to pieces with knives and everything that you've lost track of what's truly important. The word that echoes in your heart when you rise at dusk and pulses through your bloodstream during the rest of your waking hours until it's time to go to sleep. The word that's kicked off every single narrative you've starred in thus far. Friendship. You'll do things differently this time. You're going to bring yourself to truly care about these creepy clown children, goddammit, even if it's the last thing you do. And with the way things are going, very well could be. Their MO is oddly benign this time, a tickling machine. Unfortunately, it's a little difficult for you to talk to them through all the laughter. What are those noises they're making? I think they're trying to tell us something. Miraculously, the tickling stops. You wheeze, trying to catch your breath, hoping to God you haven't peed. You've managed not to wet yourself out of fear until now, but it'd be the worst to have broken your streak due to laughing too hard. What is it about clowns and you divesting your body of waste? After assuring yourself that your underwear is blessedly dry, you ask, if they kill you, won't they just be alone again? How is that beneficial for anyone? They'll be bored and you'll be, dead, which you would really rather not be. Their creeping saccharine smiles transform into matching expressions of confusion. Barzum puts a finger to her chin, cocking her head to one side as if deep in thought. Almost like a puppy. Under any other circumstances, you might even consider it cute. What are you talking about? We don't want to kill you. We just cut you a little. You'll heal right back up again. Don't be such a wiggler. Some of the things they've tried to inflict on you would have definitely taken more than your regular human healing functions to recover from. But wait, you think back to Remele taking a whole-ass club in her side and acting like it was no big. She said something about higher blood colors being able to take more of a beating, too. Are the twins assuming that's the case for everyone? God, this is what happens when all the adults in a society go off-planet and leave a bunch of zoo animals to bring up their kids. Or, well, trolls also solve most of their problems by killing each other. Can't discount that either, you suppose. You take a closer look at the twins. There isn't any malice in either of their faces. The only emotion you can discern is idle curiosity. You decide to take that as encouragement. You explain that no, you won't heal up from being sliced open, or from an on-fire scuttle buggy being flung at your head, because you're a human, and humans heal differently from trolls. Well, differently from high-blood trolls, at least. You even use your best babysitter voice for good measure. You feel like you're giving a stern talking to about the importance of taking care of one's toys so that they don't break. Instead, you propose, why don't you be friends? You can all play together, instead of you being the subject of their torment. They'll be able to play with you for longer that way, too. They give you a strange look. Friends? What's that? Do people not agree to be their playmates very often? No. Usually everyone runs in the other direction. So we have to catch them. Or trick them. That explains a lot. You think you're beginning to understand. If they let you down, you can try to show them what you have in mind. They do. They actually free you. They turn all the lights on in the room so you can finally see everything in it. It's bigger than you expected, and set up like a circus tent. A wire is suspended along the ceiling, a person-sized target board rotates at dizzying speeds against the back wall. Juggling clubs, knives, scarves, and other props are piled across the floor. You recognize a few of the mechanisms they had inflicted on you before. It's pure chaos. So what else do they do with all this stuff? They're still staring at you as if they aren't quite sure how to deal with you engaging with them voluntarily. You're feeling pretty tentative yourself. This whole interaction seems incredibly precarious. You're afraid that if you make a misstep, you'll end up back in the tickling rack again. This isn't ours. We found it when we got here. But it does look a lot like what's in our hive. We can do shows. And stunts. All kinds of cool stuff. Fuck, even when they aren't threatening you, the way they talk in chorus like that freaks you out a little. In perfect unison, like they're one voice instead of two. You shake off your fears and suggest that they show you a little something. They seem to like that idea. Excitedly, they scurry over to the target board. One twin stands against it, while the other picks up a handful of throwing knives. You're anxious. You don't exactly want them to rough each other instead of you, but Barzum just throws the knives in a graceful arc. They surround Baizili perfectly, barely missing him. You gasp, your mouth a perfect O. The twins seem pleased with themselves, laughing together like they're sharing a secret.
If you think that's impressive, watch this.
They execute a sick flip on a pair of trapezes above a bed of swords, make a daring escape from one of the contraptions they'd trapped you in. They move similarly to how they speak, perfectly in tandem with each other. The variety of obsessions you've seen among your friends, it figures that it was only a matter of time until you met someone who made a hobby of risking their lives. It's not too out there compared to cage fighting, you suppose, or collecting saucy East Alternian figures.
You could have just escaped from the trap we put you in earlier, you know. Why didn't you?
You laugh nervously. You haven't exactly had much practice. Maybe it would have been easier if you had someone else to help. You look at the two of them pointedly. You didn't even realize siblings were a thing among trolls, let alone twins.
Sibling? What's that?
You know, someone you, share a lucis with. Someone who hatched with in the same clutch. Are you phrasing that right?
Do share a lucis? We share everything. We didn't just hatch from the same clutch. We hatched from the same egg. We were going to be a single troll, but we split in two. Just our bodies, though. Our minds are still one. One person, two bodies. We're one and the same.
Okay, maybe siblings aren't a thing on Alternia after all. Being literally the same person is quite a bit different from the human concept of twins or siblings. Somehow this leads to them telling you all about a number of exploits they had with some of the other kids in their neighborhood. One story led to another, and soon you're recounting some of your own adventures too. They particularly love your attempt at giving an impression of Nikki, clapping and crowing as you get in a dramatic power stance and flex your flimsy muscles. You can't help but feel a little proud of yourself. You feel like the guy on Jurassic Park who walked into the Velociraptor den all, "Be chill, my dudes," and they actually listened to him. Besides, there's something great about making kids laugh. Even kids who were trying to murder you less than an hour ago. The twins are in the middle of talking about a prank they played that they found hilarious and that you've been trying hard not to grimace in horror at when you feel it. A certain change in the air. Didn't they mention they had been stuck here?
Did we? Yes, we have. When we try to go out the door, some sort of force pushes us back. You're the first other person we've seen since we got here.
You have a hunch that might have changed. Why don't you all try again? They look at you skeptically.
If you want. It's not going to be any different.
You just tell them to trust you. You look at the front door. The twins are crowding you from either side, clinging onto your arms and edging so close it's like they're trying to burrow into you. Ready? They nod. You push against the door. It opens, and you breathe in the cool evening air.
Not so fast. We've gotten this far before, but we won't be able to go any farther. See?
You take one step, another. As you look beyond the grounds of the house, you see things you hadn't when you first got here. Mountains in the distance, other houses. Before, all you could see was shrubbery. You pick up the pace. The house falls way behind you, disappearing into the fog.
Whoa. You did it. You actually did it. We can finally leave.
They swoop in to grab you, hugging you hard. The curving horns of their masks almost stab you in the cheek. These things are a bit of a hazard when their wearers only come up to about where your chest is. They keep talking before you can get a word in, pulling you forwards and shuffling you along between them. It looks like you were right. It wasn't just enough to save yourself. You had to save them, too. You don't know how. He is making this little patch of universe obey the rules of reality. Once more was friendship all along.
Should have seen your face. You were shit your gam tubes terrified.
You heave a sigh as their incessant giggling surrounds you like so many playful ghosts. Yes, very clever. They were the ones behind all of this nonsense, weren't they? You started guessing somewhere towards the end. You wiggle your hands vaguely. All the time stuff. They sure scared you, all right.
No. That wasn't us we were talking about, the bloody walls and creepy sounds. None of that was real. That was all us. That was all chuckle voodoos. We're the best at chuckle voodoos. We got you so good.
They both bounce beside you excitedly. You blink down at them. You have no idea what the heck chuckle voodoos are. You can only guess that it's some sort of illusionary. So they didn't have anything to do with time messing up, folding in on itself?
No. We told you. I'm trying to get out of that stupid house. Or wipes. Maybe even a perigee. Do you really think that was our hive? Our place is much cooler than that dump.
Visit their actual hive? You have your reservations about that, but you can't find it within you to say no as they eagerly pull you along, one twin tugging your hand, the other looping an arm in yours. You look back at the house one last time. You have no clue whether the twins are lying or they're telling the truth. What really caused what happened? But right now, you're content enough knowing that you'll never have to see this place ever again. Rig, do I want to understand now? Hold on a second. Is this the thing that I want to understand? Sorry, I'm swapping shirts. This is Epilogue Intro, so no, I don't want to understand yet. Alright, we want to very quickly do the Lanque thing. Bombyx.
Oof, you're too scared. Oh man, the sound of that is making you quake in your slutty little boots. Controversial fictional material, you say. Damn, it's almost starting to sound like a woman wrote this. Count you out.
Adada clicks her tongue. She reaches for the comp of markers she keeps on a table next to the door and pulls one out. You flinch back as she wields it like a weapon to draw a big blue X on the back of your hand.
Here.
Now all of my fine guests will know we've a delicate little angel on our hands. And then she turns to Lanera. And what about you, my sweet thing? Huh? Oh, I'm not real, so it's cool. Very well, then. Welcome to the bash. Drinks are free, but if you die of poisoning, you're contractually obligated to croak in range of one of my cameras. Toodaloo. Ardata blows you a toxic kiss and saunters off to mingle with her enthusiastic guests. You and Lanera step past the threshold and have a look around. Lanera is visibly nervous, which is unfortunately a little bit infectious. You ask her where her friend is. She glances about a bit. Oh, I don't know, Oh, over there! You follow her gaze into the living area of the house. Far cry from the sight outside, the music's not nearly so bumping as you originally thought it was. The whole shebang seems to have a pretty chill teenagers drinking Kool-Aid vibe, apart from the fact that it's definitely not Kool-Aid. Everybody's milling about, chatting amiably. Oh, definitely not Kool-Aid. Hey look! Skyla's here! Wow! You spot a few familiar faces. Diamond flirting with roasting his Frank on the hearth. Elward leaned casually against the doorframe to the kitchen and talking with a cute girl. Skyla recounting some enrapturing rodeo chapter to a group of gathered folks. A real diverse roster of friendly folks. You spot who Lanera is pointing at the center of the parlor's arrangement of couches and armchairs, sat among a group of friends on the floor, the only other Jade blood in the room. He's even more impeccably dressed and done up than the rest of the markedly fashion-forward Jades you've met. When he catches the sight of Lanera, his face lights up and he rises to make his way over and greet you. Oh, Lanera, you've made it after all. I was starting to think you weren't going to come. You know what? I will give him my Metaton treatment. Fuck it. Haha, well, surprise. I didn't not come. I mean, I did come. Hi. I'm here. Lol. You cringe, but Lanque seems otherwise unaffected by Lanera's astonishingly embarrassing display. He turns to you with a warm smile. And who's this? You can't help but get a little flustered when your eyes meet. His makeup and stylings might lean to the severe and feminine, but he has that contrastively calming and masculine voice that puts you at ease straight away. He seems to have quite the opposite effect on Lanera. Before you can answer yourself, she starts blabbering a mile a minute. Oh, this is my friend. I invited them. They're an alien, and I guess I almost murdered them because I was jealous of their friendship with Branya. Lol, I didn't think, but I didn't, and we're friends now. And I'm starting to work past my self-destructive obsession with her, and they agreed to come with me because I'm socially anxious and afraid of you. Lol. Ah, that's awfully nice of them. Hold on, sorry. I know that was a lot at once. Let me reorganize that statement into a clearer, digestible list of bullet points. You've absolutely no need to do that, Lanera. I've understood your points just fine. Oh, okay. Lanque looks back at you. Thank you for helping Lanera feel more comfortable here. Why don't you come and sit with us? Lanque turns and gestures to the other trolls he was speaking with before. Teal-blooded boy and an indigo-blooded girl, neither of whom you recognize. They both have notebooks in their laps. They give you friendly waves. Okay, that sounds great. What are we doing? We were just in the middle of a poetry reading. I don't know if you've prepared anything of your own, to share, but you might find it relaxing just to listen. Poetry? Lanera's face has gone bright green. Oh boy. Why would you think I've written any poetry? I don't really. It was merely a suggestion. Have you? Well, Maybe? Wait, no. You put a comforting hand on Linnera's shoulder, intuiting immediately that she has indeed written poetry, but is embarrassed by the prospect of sharing any of it. You remind her she's among trusted friends here and has nothing to fear. Oh, I guess you're right. Well then, please come and join us. Lanque leads you back to his group, inviting you to sit down with them in a circle. Linnera goes to deliberate lengths to insert you between herself and Lanque, so that you're the one sitting next to him. Why don't we pick back up where we left off? I was just about to read my latest piece. You say that sounds great. Lanque's two friends close their eyes and take each other's hand. You and Linnera are both plenty surprised when Lanque and the Indigo Blood sitting next to Linnera try to take yours to close the circle. At your obviously shocked expression, Lanque explains. We find physical contact helps us feel closer on a spiritual level during our poetry session. But if you aren't comfortable with it, you're under no obligation. You feel really respected right now, so you and Linnera both assent to join the circle. She even takes the initiative and holds your hand first. Lanque reaches out and takes your fingers gently in his. You don't know what it is, but you can't help yourself from blushing shyly. His hand is soft and warm in yours, short red nails immaculately manicured. Then let me begin. This is a short poem I've written in free verse, based on something haunting me as of late. Reflecting back on one of my most complicated and passionate past relationships. Forgive me, this might be a bit raw. It is, as of yet, untitled. Lanque draws a deep breath and closes his eyes. His notebook is open in his lap. You see the poem written there in an elegant hand, but he doesn't need to look at it to recite the words. What is the meaning of a memory? A question I oft ponder, intangible and untraceable by anything but the mind, yet so potent as to leave one sick, as if poisoned or wounded in a literal sense. And what meaning is there in regret and longing? Can my lamentations change the past? Will they move the future? Shall they amount to much more than what unmoors my here and now? If I restrict my world to that but which is before my eyes, to those whom I may touch, to that which I might alter, one would no doubt conclude that thoughts of you are long past, are lost among what I could consider to matter. And still you haunt me yet, like a scar, like a disease uneager to abate. Who are you, and who am I after so long without you? I know. I don't know. I won't know. What do I know but what I know, and what can it even mean to know? No, no, no. Though it so vexes me, though so little I valued it when it was before me, a thing and you I could touch and see and know and hate and wonder, revile, woe. Now it and you are a traceless ghost, and I preoccupy myself with nothing but futile tasks of redefinition and reinterpretation, and circuitous dwellings upon that which I understand even less now than the times when my wonderings might have been so easily answered with a question or a bite or a kiss, or even a single word spoken honestly. Pressed though I am to give color to our bond, I look not to onyx nor ash, but that which pulses within our very veins, so blinding jade, hard as the stone for which it was so named. Twisted and pulled, hammered and forged, shaped unnaturally as if a chain, a stricture within scriptures, a certain so meaningful tincture. Resent you though I must, envy you though I may. Now leagues and leagues stretch between us, and I make peace with naught but what I say. You are the only You are only that which is within me, my blood and my mind, and that is at once nothing, the most elementary definition of everything. You realize you were holding your breath when Lanque finally finishes. The circle falls into meaningful silence. Taut as a wire, the tension breaks when his eyes flutter open, tears spilling over his long lashes. You squeeze Lanque's hand gently. He weeps silently and beautifully. Such powerful art. He musters a wan smile as he gazes across the circle at Lanera. Lanera, would you like to read next? Lanera looks stunned. There's moisture gathering in the corner of her eyes. Of course, anyone would be moved by anything or something so emotional and raw. I guess I have a poem I could read. Lanera takes out her planner and opens it, breaking the circle of held hands. She can't recite it from memory like Lanque. When she speaks, her voice is small and timid. This one's called Still. I'm still. I sit still, I do what I am told still. Wonder about the day, or about the way that I am, and I think still. I see her every day, and I still miss her. She hugs me, and I still feel cold. I'm surrounded by people, and I'm still alone. I'm still me. I still love her. I still hate that. Wow, you're really proud of Lanera for opening up like this. She's crying too now. You reach out to take her hand back in yours. The indigo blood beside her comfortingly strokes her shoulder. Sorry. It's not really good and long like yours, Lanque. I'm not really a poet or anything. Just wrote down how I feel. Lanera, it's fine. I thought it was beautiful. Poetry is about expressing yourself. It's not important that it be any set length or sound any certain way. All that matters is that you've spoken your blood pusher. And I think you've accomplished that remarkably. We're all very proud of you. You find yourself drawn into a group hug by Lanque and the other trolls. Lanera is sobbing openly now, and her raw emotion seems to have inspired similar pathos in the others. Before you know it, you feel yourself tearing up too. It feels good to get it all out, but before long it's becoming clear Lanera is kind of reaching her limit. She pulls back and sniffles out something about wanting to go home. Of course, Lanera, if that's what you need. I'll talk to you back at the cloister. Okay. See to it that she gets back safe, will you? You tell Lanque that of course you will, and take Lanera carefully by the hand to lead her out of the party. She squeezes your fingers back to let you know she appreciates you. You walk back from the party in a comfortable silence for a while. When you glance over at her face, it occurs to you that you've never seen Lanera this happy. Of course, this is literally the second time you've ever seen her, so you guess you don't actually have much frame of reference for what her normal emotional state actually is. You really want to encourage her on this path of recovery she's going down it all. So you ask her about, her and Lanque. What? Her and Lanque. What? We're just friends. I mean, it's not like I have a crush on him or anything. I know I've had romantic feelings for a girl before, so it'd be really problematic if I liked a boy now. Oh, you say you're sorry? You didn't know? It's okay, just don't let it happen again. Lanera gives you a warm smile and reaches out to pull you into a hug. Thank you for helping me. I was really nervous, and I think if it hadn't been for your help, I wouldn't have been able to come at all. But I did, so thanks. It wasn't perfect, but I think I really opened up tonight. I'll see Lanque again. And you, I hope. And in the future, things will be easier. Right? You're certain they will. You put a comforting arm around her shoulders and walk her the rest of the way home. You feel like this night really taught you an important lesson. Not everything is about collecting the largest quantity of friends as is humanly possible. Sometimes strengthening your bond with someone you already know can be just as rewarding. So screw you, you say, to the concept of good endings and bad endings and narrative railroading. This route makes you feel heckin' valid, and that's fine by you. Alright. That's valid. No, I don't want to understand yet. Hold on. Stop giving me a game over sign. Okay, is that any different if I do the thing that I did before? Because I'm just gonna check really quickly. Oof, you're too scared. Oh no. Wait, I want to go back. Oh, you bet, Chief. Tell you're all in. Oh no. Okay. I'm confused. It didn't do the thing that it did last time. Oh well. Ooh, so valid. Oh, whoa. Alright, and then we had... No fucking way. Yeah, no, that's not happening. Didn't you just establish that this place gives you the heebiest of jeebies? Plus, there's always the chance that that the inhabitant will cull you instead of help you. You're sticking to your original plan, thank you very much. Firmly ignoring the house, you continue on your way. You make good progress for a while. Your Maps app says you're heading in the right direction, except... Oh, what the fuck? Why are you here again? Did you take a wrong turn somewhere? Whatever, you're not going to dwell on it. Time is running out and you need to get away from this stupid house pronto. You'll make sure to do it right this time. You'll go... left. Okay, you split, breaking into a jog. The scenery flicks past you as you pick up the pace, urgency spurring you on. Getting even lighter now. Won't be long now. What? You check your palm husk again. You're right back where you started, even though just a moment ago the map's GPS put you a decent distance away. This is ridiculous. There's obviously something weird going on, but the suns are creeping over the horizon. Time's up. There's nothing else for it. You make your way toward the house, even though everything inside you is screaming at you to stay away. Even though with every step you take, your chest tightens and your hands tremble. By the time you reach the door, you're shaking like a leaf. Adrenaline zings through you. You could choke on it. You want to run, but you force yourself to keep moving forward. It's a slow-motion race between you and the sunrise. At this rate, the suns will make it all the way into the sky before you can even knock. Oh, okay, so it just picks up where the other path... Okay. Search for another exit. No, there has to be something else here. Ignoring the voice's instructions, you examine the walls of the corridor instead. Soon enough, you notice something funny about one of the paintings. Its frame seems much thicker than the others, which strikes you as somehow suspicious. Feeling along its bottom edge reveals a button. You push it. There's a groaning sound, and part of the wall folds itself away, revealing a tunnel of some sort. Ha! You knew it! You're so focused on trying to make your escape that you rush through the opening without looking. If you had been more careful, you might have noticed one very important thing. Past this doorway, there is no floor. Your feet meet thin air, sending you pitching downwards. Drat, you think, as you plunge towards the pit of knives beneath you. You'd reached a follower milestone on Chitter the other day, too. You hadn't gotten around to bequeathing it to any of your friends in case something like this happened. Your final regretful thoughts are of your account, dusty and abandoned, with no one there to continue to update it after you're gone. Oh. Alright. Oh. Don't want to... Okay, it doesn't ask me if I want to understand again. Alright. Well, let's just get an ending out of the way so that we can get straight to it. No fucking way. How about this? Go right. Okay, you split, breaking into a jog. Yep. No difference. Beep. Beep. Fuck this. There's one thing you've been doing wrong, appealing to the twins to let you go. All they seem to care about is torturing you. Of course, simply asking them for your freedom isn't going to work. You'll do things differently this time if you want to escape. Or if you want to escape, you'll have to go on the offensive. You wake up again. Disembodied voices, bleeding walls, game, check, check, check. You head towards the twins' room. Stand back, you yell before they can launch into their tirade. You're a weird, scary alien with weird, scary alien superpowers, and you're not afraid to use them. You switch on your phone's torch app, waving it around. You even attempt an intimidating roar for added effect. The only superpowers you're aware of is your irresistible charm and a set of truly banging gams, but they don't need to know that. Your gambit works. They don't cower in fear exactly, but they're bamboozled enough for you to look frantically around the room as much as you can with your paltry light source. There, an air vent with a loose grill. With a desperate yell, you launch yourself up towards it and crawl inside. Twins, finally aware that this is just an elaborate ruse, start shouting after you. The twins' indignant voices start to fade as you wriggle deeper into the dusty guts of the house. You can't have very long. It's only a matter of time until the diminutive terrors climb into the vents after you. Maybe they'll run ahead and cut you off via one of the other rooms the vent's connected to. They must know the layout of the house better than you do. Much to your surprise, though, you re-emerge at one of the outside walls with no trouble. It's dusk, not day, for which you mutter a quick thank you to your merciful overlords. From here, it's a simple matter of picking your way down the vines until you get to the bottom. Once your feet touch the ground, you start running. When you cast one last wild glance over your shoulder, you catch sight of them, your captors, who you've successfully hoodwinked. They're standing in the grand front doorway, screaming. You have no idea why they aren't coming after you. You don't question it, pumping your legs until they're burning. It's a good thing you spent all that time jogging with Stelsa. You've gotten really good at running away from your problems. You stop running once you can't see the house anymore. You were a little surprised that getting away turned out to be that simple, but you know better than to look a gift hoof beast in the squat gaper. Relief floods through you in waves. You did it. You got away. Slow down to a leisurely walking pace, pulling out your phone as you go. You have a slew of texts from Skyla, who'd been wondering what happened to you after you'd never turned up. Her invitation to come over and hang out still stands, though. Oh boy, you can't wait to finally make your way over there and chill with her. You'd never play favorites with among your pals, but you have to admit that you hold a particular fondness for Skyla. Her whole thing, where she always makes sure not to cause you any bodily harm, that definitely has its charms. You keep walking, but after a while your stomach starts to sink. It's been half an hour and your surroundings don't look any different. You should be closer to Skyla's neck of the woods by now. Not until you catch sight of a weathered wall all wound in ivy that you realize what's going on. It's the house again. You're still stuck. You're not going to be able to leave its grounds no matter how much you walk. You might have escaped the house, but whatever curse or time-space witchcraft this is isn't confined to within the house walls. Within those walls. You're in a pocket dimension of some sort, and you don't know how to break out. So now you can either return to the twins, since they're the only company you have out here, or make these bushes your new best friends. You look dolefully out at the miles of scraggy underbrush before you. You had probably best get used to gazing at nothing but this, since it's all you're going to be seeing for a long, long time. Ah. And it didn't ask me if I want to understand yet. Or again. Alright. Alright. I want to understand. Tell me. Of course you do. Your sort of creature always does. You're worn out. Last night was, well, it sure was something. You lived, probably. You learned, definitely. You had choices. You made choices. You had to. After all this time, here you still are. So after a day of recuperation from raggers and houses of horror, you're out walking the streets. Get a lank bad end? Wait, Did I not get any Lanque bad ends? Hold on. No, I'll straight up do a Lanque bad end. I don't know what I missed. Hold on. I got the one where you go ahead and romance him and shit. Lanque, give me a bad end. You bet Sheaf till you're in. Oh, you just realized that I got the bad end. Okay. Yep. All right. You hate chat lag? Ah, fuck. All right. Yes, I want to understand. Of course you do. Your sort of creature always does. After all this time, here you still are. So after a day of recuperation from ragers and houses of horror, you're out walking the streets of the place you may as well start calling home. You've changed out of your party gear, opting for your old hoodie standby. It fits the mood you're in. You're not really looking to meet anyone new tonight, well, like. You wouldn't say no, probably. But you're not jonesing for it. Only a little. It's complicated. After an indeterminable amount of minutes of aimless walking, you look around at where you've ended up. You seem to have wandered into a dirt pile. Oh, you know this dirt pile. It's Fozer's corpse field. How did you get here, you wonder? You're pretty sure you were just on the other side of the city with no particular desire to come anywhere near here. It's probably fine, just your deep innate bro-honing skills taking over your goddamn body. Just little friendship things. You look around for your pal Fozer, peeking down into a few of the deeper holes. You might as well say hello, since you're here and all. Holy shit. That again. Curiosity killed the cat, but you've definitely got more than 9 lives, so you shrug and slide not gracefully down into the shiny hole. Fozer is nowhere to be found. There is a window down here. It's almost completely unearthed, and doesn't take much effort to free it the rest of the way. At first, you think it might be some cool new trash you could make art with, but when you look closer, you reconsider. There's a whole-ass room you can see through the pane of glass laying at your feet. That's weird. Weirdness isn't typically a deterrent for you, but usually there's at least some causational coherence. Doors are in walls, walls surround rooms. You aren't used to finding parlors in ditches. Is there a latch or something? Should you do a polite little knock? There might be friends in there. Damn, you could really go for some friends right now. Is there protocol for approaching ditch window? Allow me to stop you there. I am a timeless being of the void, but even my patience has its limits. Fun is fun, but this frivolous navel-gazing is no longer necessary. Come in from behind the window of that narrative text. It's so very hard to see your face. You aren't sure where you are, and it's unsurprisingly a little nerve-wracking. You look over your shoulder at the window you guess you just fucking came on through. The Alternian sky is framed by the edge of your dirt hole, and the knot in your stomach loosens a bit. Hopefully that means this is a two-way portal. You turn to look at your surroundings and, oh, there's someone here. The guy you just heard, you assume. He doesn't look like any of the other aliens you've met. Oh, I am not an alien, or no more than any of us are alien to each other. In fact, nothing is alien to me. The root concept behind that term is alienation, being forced from that which is natural. Nothing is unnatural to me. I look upon all realities as equally inviting and approachable. It's you, my dear, who are out of place. I could see that even if I was not omniscient, which I am. Okay, so not an alien, with no horns or a caste sign. Though he's definitely not a troll. Whoever he is, he seems to be white. Just really white. And round. and his outfit is admittedly kind of dope. Looking at him really ramps up your friend thirst. He's just got this quality about him that you've got to get with. You took a step towards him, almost without thinking about it. Oh, my apologies. That compulsion has become extraneous. Let me take care of it for you. He snaps his fingers and your knees buckle. The force of the universe presses down on you like G-force. You blink and somehow he's there immediately, arms outstretched to catch you as you fall. He steers you to a chaise lounge and you drape yourself weakly onto it. Please have a seat. The emotional transition might be a tad uncomfortable, but I know you've handled worse. You're quite the soldier. Allow me to be the first to say that I am very pleased with your work. I knew exactly what you were going to do, of course. And most of your work was, in fact, my work regardless. Congratulations are in order. What is this guy talking about? Your work? You try to parse what he's saying, but your body is still shaking from whatever he just did to you. And it's hard to think in here. You suddenly, sharply, don't feel friendly toward him at all anymore, or toward anyone. The void left by that feeling is a freshly gaping horror. It's like you'd thought you were, It's like who you thought you were caved in itself. A black hole of personality eating your body up from the inside. You try to pull your shit together. He seems like he means business. This is no time to lose it, no matter if your sense of self is shattering. When you truly reflect on yourself, you surely can't be without any honesty claim to believe that any of this was your own making. Crash landing on a hostile alien world, surviving the impact, dragging around a half-broken body and somehow not immediately being eaten by local fauna. Did you learn an alien language just by thinking about it very, very hard? Right. Malik said something about that you were speaking perfect Alternian. And it was kind of weird, but you kind of just accepted it. For no good reason. That's your whole deal. Your friends all accepted your quirks. That's what friends do. You say it to convince yourself as much as to prove it to him. So many trolls. So many fascinating aliens, and all of them wanted to know you. Did you really think you managed that on your own laurels? Were they all drawn to an indefinite something, je ne sais quoi? Well, yeah. You had this whole emotional arc. You got self-confidence, you grew as a person, and helped others to grow. The white text guy doesn't make any expressions, but you get the feeling he's looking at you pityingly. I find you sweet. Honestly, I do. I don't intend to cause emotional injury, I'm just telling you the truth. I never lie, you'll find. It isn't like you don't have admirable qualities of your own, of course. You have made quite the valuable vessel for me, and I appreciate that very much. I could not have done it without you. I am only joking. I absolutely could have done it without you. It is just infinitely more fun to do these things together, is it not? What things? What did he do? What did you do? You hope you didn't do something that would fuck over all your friends. Though, when you try to think about them now, the bonds you felt before come up all twisted. Without the artificial friendship drive he'd given you pushing you forward, you're not even sure what those memories are supposed to feel like. Close your eyes and breathe. You try to remember the way Polypa touched your face after you'd touched hers, her claws trailing down your cheek, how Tizius slept, trusting as you kept watch, how Tagora gave you a chance when he saw something in you didn't even see in yourself. How, not that long ago, you got the chitter handle of an extremely friendly Jade Blood boy. Those moments are like the memory of warmth to you now. Blurry, cold, and out of reach. Will all of that nothing? Your heart is a chasm. Don't worry so much about it. I simply needed some dots connected, some pieces in place for my next move. Choose whichever metaphor suits you. Whichever way you frame it, because of you, everyone will soon be in their right place. Shit, what have you done? Your heart starts to spin and you think you might cry, so you pull your hood up over your head to block out the harsh green of the room. You try to imagine it still smells a little like Malik. It doesn't smell like anything, really. But you remember what it smelled like at first, and you hold on to that. It was real, you tell yourself. Your friends were real, and what you felt for them and with them was real too. You're so afraid for them. As guilty as you feel for craving it, the fear just makes you need those feelings you felt before even more. You're clawing desperately for the euphoria of caring, of being cared for. Who cares if your hand was forced? You felt it and it still matters. You remember how you felt watching Chixie perform, bathed in light and righteous anger, and also how you drunkenly commiserated with her later, when... No, that's not right, that didn't happen. Except you still remember how hungover you were the next day. Just when you started making sense of things, the whole fucking world shifts under your feet again. You just can't keep up with all of this moving real estate in your brain. Ah, yes. All of the resets. Annoying, but necessary. You are just indescribably bad at keeping yourself alive and in one piece, and you weren't quite as adept at befriending aliens to start out with. My intervention was necessary to keep you on the right path. Time and space mean very little to me, but I had to move quickly and again, repeatedly. Swipe some incriminating note-taking here, befriend an impressionable young upstart there, anger a polar bear, inspire some bandits. You know how it is. You have to throw the temporal spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. I'm sure if you look back, you will be able to see traces of my deft touch. So a few memories may have slipped through the cracks here and there. Timelines tend to collapse in on each other if you aren't careful. Your ability to mentally withstand such an event, and so often, is a testament to my acumen in choosing you for the task. You even almost caught on a few times, which I must say I was not expecting. You almost listened to the silly little girl who likes to dress up in big coats and cause me trouble. And as always, some bystanders end up caught in the crossfire. The one with the shovel, for instance, I doubt his mind will ever be the same. A pity. You sit up straighter and clench your hands into fists. Over the course of his pompous monologuing, you've moved past fear and grief and into deep globe-chafing rage. How dare he do this to your mind? To your friends' lives? What was so important that one white orb asshole had to fuck with the destinies of everyone you've grown to care about? There are answers out there and you deserve them, and so, you demand them. Adorable. Yikes. You shift on the chaise lounge so as to better hide your famous legs from this creepy round fucker. Oh, calm down. All of you and your adherence to societal expectations and archetypes. Perhaps one day you could just learn to take a compliment. Besides, I was being condescending. So you demand answers. He sighs theatrically. You aren't sure where the noise is coming from. He doesn't have a mouth. How is he even talking? How the fuck does anything work at all? I knew you would, but I find explaining myself incredibly tedious. Suffice it to say, I am a man with many boards and fields of play. And although there are countless ways to move the players around those boards, some are doubtlessly more entertaining than others. You were simply one pawn among many. I won't bore you with the details. Doubtless, you are aware of the greater contextual framework of this story. The hell you are? You aren't aware of jack shit! Your head is full of question marks! Oh, of course, how thoughtless of me. See, Yet another unfortunate side effect of the limitless conversing with the narratively limited. He taps a thumb and forefinger to his orb. Perhaps it would suit you better to understand gradually. When I say gradually, please understand that I mean it. You won't be leaving. But yes, I do believe this will clarify some things for you. This way, please. He opens a door and gestures inside. There's light coming from in there, but it still gives off the vibe of a dark closet door with a unfamiliar bedroom at 3 a.m. You're afraid, yeah, but you want to understand even more. You stand up and take a step, conscious of the movement of the muscles in your legs. With the rosy sheen of your friendship hypnosis or whatever the fuck he did to you gone, the sensation of moving your own body feels heightened. Important. Yours. There's probably a version of you that would try to turn him down, or that would fight or run or take a nap on his surprisingly comfortable piece of antique furniture. You even consider rushing back to say goodbye to somebody. Anybody, at least. But you know there isn't time to click through all that bullshit. Those tributaries flicker in your mental periphery, so tangible that you can almost see yourself choosing one. But you pull your focus back to your present and look him right in the orb. You just have to trust they'll remember you. Because the you you've become after this journey, after all this friendship and growth and death and time, that you needs to understand. You owe it to your friends, but even more, you owe it to yourself. You found your river, and you're going to see where it leads. So you follow him. Sit here, please. In the interest of expediency, I will leave you to your own devices while I go deal with an unexpected but entirely unwanted guest. It shouldn't be hard or too hard to parse out the truth on your own. All you need to do is read a brief webcomic. Hold on. Something has come to mind. Something immediately came to mind, and now we're going to have to dive down a rabbit hole here. Just a moment. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Media source. Where is it? Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, it's playing for you guys, but I can't hear it. Oh shit. Yeah, sorry. I accidentally muted my microphone. Yeah, no, it brought me to the first page of Homestuck, and I decided, oh, wouldn't it be apt? Wouldn't it just be wondrously apt to go ahead and play MSPA Reader, have a mental breakdown? So, that was it. That's it. There we go. That's all there is of Hiveswap Friendsim. And we experienced it together. We experienced it as a family. Damn. Yeah, so I guess that's a pretty heavy thing there. So apparently MSPA Reader, the character that landed there on Alternia, was just in Doc Scratch's bedroom reading all of all of Homestuck while Homestuck was happening in the other room. An unwanted guest. Oh, I bet that was Spade Slick coming in being all angry, wasn't it? Oh, that's fun. All right, so that's all of the Hiveswap Friendsim, and I gotta say, oh, there's a lot. There is a lot to mentally unpack about it all. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to, there's a lot that I need to consider. But I think it gave me a little bit of understanding of some things that I think my experiences with it have broadened my general understanding of the world of Homestuck, and I'm glad for that. To anyone who made it here to the end of this video, look forward to the future. There will be some Homestuck content, but it's going to be a lot more sparsed out. What I'm going to end up doing is I've realized that without a dedicated editor to help me manage the workflow on this channel, I just simply cannot spare the time to record several hours of video, chop it down myself, then put an intro and outro into it, and and then render it for like 4 hours before sitting it out to YouTube. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down, record multiple videos, 15-minute segments, try to get into the flow of being more conversative with my microphone, you know, speaking my mind more. I'm gonna use the time that I have to just do that. I'm gonna record 15-minute segments. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll be able to create some kind of intro and outro system that I can activate in OBS. Who knows? But for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and record smaller videos, more of them, and make it so that I can release videos. Like I'm gonna try and record videos for videos enough for several days releases, so that I can schedule them and then spend time working on bigger projects in between. So thank you so much. I'll probably announce all of that in a video, but you here at the stream, you get to hear that right now, first straight from the bird's mouth. So have a fantastic evening, and I hope to see you guys in the next everything. Bye.